I think we're live, are we? Yes, we are. Welcome everyone to our daily success call for Tuesday, the 14th of December. I have not hosted a Tuesday show in, how long has it been, you guys? Some of you old timers here. Well, I don't want to use that word old. Some of you seasoned veterans here with us.
Couple of months for sure.
Yeah. It's been since we brought Karen in. And but this week you're getting a John Lavenia sandwich because you got me Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Karen's hosting Fun Friday.
We know.
So deal with that. How about that, Chukwemeka? Will you survive? Will you?
We know. Oh,
Yeah?
easily.
Okay. Good times. Well, it's good to see you all. And wherever you're from, we have friends from Scotland, and we do have some Aussies and Kiwis tuning in live right now. Those who cannot sleep because they're just so excited. Welcome, you guys. Glad you're here. As we were saying just before we went live.
Mandy, John,
Yes.
I'm not so sure Missy will survive.
Well, Missy, she's a special breed. She's
John
like
is
a
like the
unicorn.
brother-in-law I never
Right.
wanted. Oh my God.
Right.
I don't
Yeah, the thing about Missy is that she's exceedingly intelligent. So she will figure out a way. She will. I believe in you, Missy. You're great. In fact, I think everybody here has a special place in their heart for Missy, with her coffee cups and Christmas ornaments and all of this on Long Island, Strong Island. There you go. So anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about geography and the fact that we don't have any Antarcticans here. A little bit of trivia for everyone. Well, I think you already know the answer. What continent has the highest average IQ? And the answer, of course, is Antarctica. Yeah, because there's only like 20 people there, and they're all doctors and scientists and stuff. Yeah, Antarctica. It's like all geniuses. So, although they don't like to stay too long. It's winter, I hear, sucks in our Antarctica. Actually, I saw a documentary where there were some people who wintered over. So apparently the summer, and it's never dark in the summer, right? It's polar, and you get light all the time, and they get to run around in like 0 degrees. It's like nice and warm. But then in the winter, it's like 100 below zero Fahrenheit, or however they're measuring it. And I saw one thing where this guy opened the window and threw a hot cup of tea or something out the window, and it blasted into vapors, like just frozen crystals, like instantly as it touched the air, from hot tea to like a blast of ice shards or something. So don't go there, Scott. You won't like it. All right. Hey, Ron, you have a thought? Ron, you wanted to jump in here? Do you know about Antarctica?
Yeah, I know about Antarctica. I have a cousin who was accepted to go. They actually have an IQ contribution. In order to stay at an American facility, you have to have a certain expertise, and that requires a high IQ.
Well, there you go.
What I know. Yeah.
Wow. I wish we had.
You can't get there and stay there unless you're smart. But the funny thing is, they were a little sneaky. They didn't like being confined all the time, so
Right.
They snuck out of the facility and took white sheets because his wife was in the supply section, and they'd send out search planes, and they'd hide under their white sheets when they saw the planes coming.
Wow.
But he was always a little mischievous.
Covert operation in
Smart
Antarctica.
people have goals.
Yeah.
And they find a way to meet their goals, even though the rules don't really let them. So,
Well, there you go.
anyway,
Look at that. So maybe that's our topic for today: is being smart enough to reach your goals, even though you seem to have barriers in your way. I could make some jokes about that IQ test and having to pass it in order to get in, and where the people who don't pass it end up. But I will go ahead and not mention any of that, because I'm told that I need to keep it really non-denominational and apolitical and all of that while we're here. So you can just imagine whatever you'd like to imagine about that. So there you go. Moving on. We have business to handle here, ladies and gentlemen. This is all very serious. And for our new members, welcome to you. I'm glad that you're here. Once again, Karen typically hosts on Tuesdays. What does Karen typically talk about on Tuesdays? Probably the same thing we talk about every day, which is you becoming successful in your e-commerce business and this whole idea of entrepreneurship in a broader sense, right? What we're actually all engaging in, regardless of the methods, is entrepreneurship, is the fact of you taking control, or I could also say accepting responsibility, not taking it, but accepting it because it was always yours, but accepting responsibility for your immediate and ongoing financial future. I think that's a beautiful topic, and we can cover it from many different angles. And some of you have been hanging around with us for a while. You know that we like to hit it from many different angles, not so much from the technical and logistical. That's I find that terribly trite and mundane, but more from the philosophical approach. I mean, what is entrepreneurship after all? If you look in the dictionary, which has been a tremendous help to me reading that book, but when you look at it, it talks about a person who accepts higher than usual risk for the sake of business and profitability, right? So that is by definition, that's an entrepreneur. So greater than usual risk. And yet when we look at, let's see what attracted you all here. We could do some introspection right now. So whether you're brand new here and this is your first ever, the first time you're stepping up at bat to take a swing at entrepreneurship, right? Or if you've had other entrepreneurial experiences, good or bad, pleasing or not pleasing, right? This is something maybe you're adding to your portfolio, or maybe this is something you're diversifying, perhaps even diversifying with the intent of diversifying yourself right out of whatever you're into now. In other words, replacing or exceeding your current income from your business, your job, whatever you were doing before you showed up here. And maybe you've had some losses in the past. Anybody? Some losses? No, just me, right? So maybe you've had some blunders. Maybe there are some things that did not quite bear fruit to the degree that you would have liked, and yet you got back on your horse. You're here. So you get my vote. Very nice. Okay, so thank you for being here. But regardless of what led you up to this point, the fact that you're here now, I think speaks volumes. So whether you're brand new or you're more of a seasoned veteran, you've got our respect. And I'll tell you what, Rachel and the coaching staff, who I get to confer with from time to time on the back end. You understand there's a whole staff of people here. This isn't Rachel's e-commerce deal that she runs out of her mother's basement or something, right? We've got people all over the world except Antarctica, and manning their posts, doing the thing. There's a big operation, okay? But all of us, one of the prerequisites, like we were talking about with Ron, a prerequisite to getting on Antarctica and doing the American thing or whatever, is you got to know stuff, right? You can't be a dummy and do that stuff. Well, one of the prerequisites to being here in this, administration, coaching, and all that is an intent, not necessarily an IQ test, okay, but an intent and an ability to demonstrate proficiency at whatever that post is. So I admittedly, as I think anyone who's been here for a while knows, I am not tech support. I am not an e-commerce expert. I am not customer service, right? I am pitiful at those things. Totally incompetent, ignorant. Yes, but I'm friggin' awesome at my post, at what I do. And I guess you could take that as a boast, or maybe it's just John, thinks he's better than he is. You could think whatever you want about me. That's fine. I'm not attached to what you think about me. But I know that when it comes to showing, how do we make this transition? How did I make this transition from corporate workaday world, 80 hours a week, miserable, getting my pay cut 3 times a year, taking orders from people who I don't think were qualified to give them to me, to here I am millions of dollars down the road, and wins and losses. Okay. It hasn't been a bowl of cherries. I'm not riding unicorns or anything. Although I guess interesting visual, but to get to a point where I've become what many would call a very competent teacher of the ways of entrepreneurship and the mental approach, the philosophical approach, the practices of those who will go past the barriers, which are not mysterious or unknowable, but being able to overcome barriers towards known goals. And right there, overcoming barriers towards known goals is, I think, the crux of it. Because as Henry Ford said, obstacles are those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off our goals. So if there's only one thing that I could give you, would be to have a destination and know what that destination is. Confucius say, man who shoots at nothing, sure to hit it, right? So you've got to know where you're going. And if you don't have that, well, you got no shot. And you can force solutions, and you can have the best of, endurance, right? Is business an endurance game? Is that what this is? That you get to suffer and see how long you can endure your suffering or something? Look, some people approach business that way. I think that's tragic. By the way, I say this from experience. I'm not telling you some theory that I haven't experienced. I've experienced it, the endurance game. But I'll tell you what, there's a better way. And the better way is to get into the flow. The flow. Now, think about this. When you are in the flow with something, when you are just kind of hitting on all cylinders, or fill in whatever metaphor you like with that, you're going fast, you're kicking ass, right? You feel good, you're doing good, your stats are up. Look at those stats. I kind of like looking at stats. I like seeing charts go up, right? I don't know if that gives you happiness or whatever, but I like seeing that, right? Because it confirms and it validates, oh my goodness, look at the production. It feels good. And here's why it feels good, because production itself, if we look at, what do we all ultimately want? We want to, be happy and productive in life and all that. Well, production, we could say, is the basis for your own self-esteem, morale, and enthusiasm for life and business and whatever you're doing in your time here. Because again, you chose this, right? So if we're here to have the experience, well, what experience? See, we got to have a destination. We got to have a target. We got to have something we're shooting at. Otherwise, how do we know if we're even on the right track? How can we feel good and right and productive and self-esteem and all this kind of stuff, happiness, right, fulfillment, if we don't even know what our targets are? Now, when considering that, and let's say you're brand new here, like our friend from Scotland, right? You're brand new here, and you may be thinking, well, I need to focus on the basics. What is this about gear bubble accounts and setting up the entities and all the mundane stuff, right? That will get handled. Yes, it will get handled. That's not the primary consideration, though. Not in my mind. Okay. And not in the minds of others who have walked this path before you and they're millions of dollars down the road. Okay. The primary consideration is who's doing it and why are you doing it? We've got to know that, because the how-to virtually handles itself when we've got the why, when it's a strong why. And the how-to really doesn't matter if you don't have a why. You guys remember there was a movie based on Lewis Carroll's book, Alice in Wonderland, which I think he wrote in a drunken stupor, or he was on LSD or something. So anyway, don't take it to heart. But in that book, Alice, who's in Wonderland, she meets the Cheshire Cat. Okay, I know we've got a lot of Brits on here right now. So Cheshire, the Cheshire Cat. And the Cheshire Cat is like, well, where are you going? Well, I don't know. She's looking for her way. And he said, well, then you can go either way. If you don't know where you're going, any way will do. And I guess this is the philosophy of LSD or something. But but how many people actually live their lives like that? Like for real, which is tragic, right? Like the ball that doesn't know where it's going to bounce next. And yes, I get that in a meditative state, or if you want to really get down to it on a super high level where you're not just considering that you're the doer, that there's like a bigger game afoot here. Yeah, I guess can you predict every circumstance? Can you predict where the ball is going to bounce next? Probably not. But getting back to actually being causative and having an effect, right? Cause, effect, right? Actually being effective and reaching goals that what they are, because you're a self-determined person, you're an entrepreneur, you're assuming greater than normal risk for the purpose of business and profitability. Well, we'll step right up then. What are we here to accomplish? Unapologetically. All right. So the how-to stuff virtually handles itself when we've got that strong why. As Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people perish. So we've got to have that vision. We got to have that why. To me, this is paramount, and we could talk until we're blue in the face about all the secondary and tertiary problems, so-called problems, okay, of the tech and the this and the that, but they're all subordinated to the primary consideration, which is who are you and where are you going? There was actually a book written by Swami Muktananda. He was a great guru in the Siddha Yoga lineage, Hindu stuff. I've studied a lot of this, but and the title of the book was, Where Are You Going? Great question. Right. So all this doing this, right, all this stuff that we're doing is to some end. To what end? Right. So that's something that you get to figure out. And I will tell you what, I am happiest when I'm in a high production, high integrity action, knowing that I'm overcoming the barriers, solving the problems towards known goals. If we get nothing else from this, or from our coming together as this group, if we get nothing else, perhaps we can get that. Is that, and I know you're getting more than that, but perhaps you can get the reality that, first of all, you're not alone in this purpose. Whether you're 1 hour in the business or you've been here for a few months, which at this point, that's how long we've been running this group, right? Which has now grown. We've got thousands of members, by the way. So regardless of where you see yourself and all that, perhaps you can confront and observe the evidence that you're not alone in this purpose. You know what? I'm not alone. I, like many others, am looking to create a better income lifestyle, some maybe steadily increasing income, right? I mean, these are good and right things. Do you have any doubt about that? Right? Do you think anyone's here because they want to just find a way to fail? No, you've already done that. You've done that before. You walk these other paths, and to your credit, you miss every shot you don't take. Okay, but not all opportunities are created equal. Do you know that right now? And maybe I'll give you guys a little bit of gratitude right now. I won't get into too much horror stories, but did you know that right now there are people engaging in e-commerce who are $50,000, $100,000 in, sourcing products and trying to figure out the ways of customs and shipping and all the problems with the China, India, Vietnam, this, that, every other thing. They're not even broken even. They're hundreds of thousands down the road, and they're not even broken even. Also entrepreneurs, assuming greater than normal risk, different methods, okay, and perhaps different goals. It could be goals of a higher magnitude. Look, the most common, and this is, you don't have to own this for yourself. I'll just tell you what I know, having worked with thousands of students. The most common goal that I hear, assuming people have goals, don't assume it, okay? But when they do, the most common goal, if we're going to quantify in terms of money, how much money does a person want to make in their mind? $10,000 a month, or a six-figure income, right? 100 grand a year. So we're looking at right in that range, 8 to 10,000 a month. But 10,000 a month is the most common numerical value that I hear. Interestingly, in any denomination, US, Canadian, pounds, Aussie, Kiwi, 10,000 a month. Why is that? Where did you get that number from? Is that really your number? Or did you hear a lot of other people talk about it? Six-figure income, right? What does it mean? Here's the question for everyone. What does it mean? Let's click the reset button on the calculator now. So let's erase 10,000 a month, okay? Well, what does it mean to you in terms of how much money you earn? Okay, this is your intention, right? This is business. You're here to profit from business, right? This is not a hobby. I hope it's not. Hobbies cost money. But what does it mean to you, whatever your number is, okay? What is it going to buy you? What is it going to do for you? What options is it going to create? Today's topic is pretty much about, enjoying the journey, being happy. And I could tell you that production and morale and self-esteem and all that, overcoming problems, reaching known goals. I mean, this is all the stuff. I live on this stuff. Man, I love it. Okay. But when we come down to quantifying those targets, because again, man who shoots at nothing is sure to hit it. What is that 10,000 or 20,000 a month or 5,000 or 2,000 or whatever your number is? What is it actually going to buy you? Because look, the money is just ink on paper. Look, here's a checkbook. Ink on paper. What does it mean? Well, we can write some numbers on there and it means something, right? But what does it mean to you? When you see that money, I want to go on a little journey here with you guys. When you see that money in your bank account, what does it really buy you? There's the ink on paper or the data on a computer screen, as it were, okay? Because we don't do paper too much. But what does that data on the computer screen actually mean to you? Does it mean that you have options that you didn't have before? You know, people say money won't make you happy. Okay, well, money will buy you options. And I like having options. That makes me happy. So do what you want with the logic of it. I don't think we need to argue our way into being broke or something. No, get the money. All right. Look, given the choice of, being rich and miserable or being poor and miserable, I'll take be rich and miserable. At least you got money, right? So let's not put moral judgments on this, but let's definitely get that money spent in our head. You don't need the money until you've got a reason for the money. I remember when my wife and I were buying this house, not the one we're in now, but we're just renting here and not for long. I'm packing, as you guys can see. Look at my bookshelf. Look at this. Look at this travesty. Okay. But we were buying this house and it was under construction. Some of you have heard this story. Have I told this story before? I have. All right, then I won't tell it. No, but we had this house on a hill that we were looking at because we were looking at getting into a bigger house, and it was under construction. It was just framework, right? Just lumber and stuff. And so we were sneaking onto the property and looking at the layout, and maybe we could do this there and that there. And at one point, we called the construction company because they were like a spec house. It was a custom home, but they were going to spec it out themselves. And because they didn't have a buyer. And so we said, what would it take? Well, first thing we said is, hey, we've been looking at that property. And they said, yeah, we know, we got you on security camera. Okay, great. So what would it take for us to design the house, the granite, the iron doors, the cabinet and the woods, and they said, well, we're going to be going into spec in 1 month. So right now, as you can see, we're all just framing and whatever. But if you want to spec it out, like you pick out all the stuff, right? Then just go ahead and put 50,000 in escrow before we go to spec. 50,000, huh? Okay. Now at the time we were making about 30,000 a month with our business, and we were spending about 30,000 a month. Okay, it's an interesting phenomenon. Perhaps just overcompensating for an impoverished youth, right? Money in, money out. Holy crap! Now we got money. Buy. At one point, I was up to 5 cars. This is not a suggestion, by the way. This is called I'm an idiot. That's what this is called. Okay. 5 cars. Had a Bentley, a Maserati, a Range Rover, a Lexus, and a BMW all at the same time. Just me and my wife. Okay. Don't do that. But anyway, that's what we did. And so we had to come up with another 50,000 in a month. And up to that point, we were working our business. We were doing all right. 30 grand a month, whatever. 50,000. Got 30 days. We really wanted the house. In the next 30 days, we made about $85,000. We said, here's your 50 grand, our house now. We'll take that kind of granite. We want those iron doors. We want that stone over there, right? We wound up spending like 1.1 million. But the point is, we didn't need the 50 grand until we decided to buy the house. The decision always precedes the means, not the other way around. Well, when I have the money, well, then I could do the thing. Wrong. That's putting circumstances in control when I have the money, when I have or don't have, right? Those are circumstances. Those are results. Those are effects. Those aren't causes. When we make the decision, now we're talking about cause. Well, now I can go have an effect, right? Let's go get some money. I remember hearing this, it was a lecture. Who was it? Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. The guy who started transcendental meditation. He was talking to a bunch of disciples about a world peace project. And one of them puts his hand up and says, Master, where's all the money going to come from? And Maharishi responded, from wherever it is at the moment. That's it. So let's make some decisions. Where are we going? And what does it cost? Okay, so now we know what we want. What does it cost? Now we've got a reason. And if it's authentically 10,000 a month, well, then go get the 10,000 a month. But if that's not really your number, for real, well, you're just parroting. You're a parrot. 10,000 a month. So what do you want? Profound question. Profound. What do you want? And then to put it into the context of, well, then this is my guaranteed future outcome. I'm no longer thinking of it as just a want. I want. My daughter wants stuff. I want this. I want that. I want that for Christmas. I want. I told her, you know what? And some of you have met my daughter, and she's stuck her head in on a broadcast here and there. I said, you know what? Given your druthers, you would have a mountain of stuff, and you would be perched on top of your mountain of stuff, right? So we're teaching her moderation, or we're attempting to teach her moderation. Let me not be so presumptuous. But the idea that you can actually have what you want is huge. Now, with that level of expectancy, we wouldn't have made the extra 50 grand that month had we not expected that we could get the house. It was that close. It was palpable. Okay. It was real for us. We had to make that real for us. That's why we kept sneaking onto the property and looking at the wood and imagining the granite countertops and whatever, right? We were making that real for us. You got to make whatever the number is, 10,000 a month, whatever. You got to make that real for you. And then you've got to claim for yourself, I shall not be denied. Look, do other people on planet Earth make 10,000 a month or 20 or whatever your number is? Of course. Sure they do. Lots more. Does that make you like special or you're a unicorn or something when you make that money? No, you're not going to break any records, not around here. Right? Well, then step right up. Let's go ahead and do it. And if your number really is huge, right? And it's something that is almost unbelievable for you at this point, well, then let's chunk it down to things, little mile markers, because I mean, you can't get to 20 until you cross 10. I mean, so that's just math, right? So, all right, so my number's 20. Well, then let's grab 10, 11, right? 12. This is just basic math. And then you'll get to where you want to go. So understand, and I'm going to end off with this because I had no idea what was coming out of my mouth until I heard it. You guys know that. But understand that what we're doing when we set goals for our own happiness, for our own fulfillment, for our own self-esteem, so that all of this work that we're doing is to some end, a known goal, right? That's why, okay? But even that goal is not the limit of what we can accomplish. Please don't perceive it as that. Perceive it as the standard, not the limit. The floor, not the ceiling. In other words, we're stepping up to a higher standard. Yes, we're raising our standards, and in many cases that needs to happen. A lot of times people need to rehabilitate their standards because as we go through life, whether this is your first rodeo or not, nobody goes through unscathed. And a lot of times people fixate their attention on the failures, the losses, and lower their standards. And then lower them again. And then lower them some more. And then woe is me. And then here's some pie in the sky BS goal that I don't believe in anyway. But after all, I got to do something with my time here on this planet. So 10,000 a month. Rehabilitate those standards. Even if you're in a deficit condition, especially if you're in a deficit condition. Sometimes I get to talk with people and their goal is to get out of debt. Oh, I see. So you're going to work your ass off to get back to zero. So your goal is zero. Well, no, I don't know about that. Well, hold on a second here. What if we looked at it this way? Your guaranteed future outcome, the house, the Lamborghini, the college fund, whatever it is, whatever the significant, relevant reasons for you are to make money, include handling your prior obligations. Of course you will. You're a person of integrity. That's fine. But we cannot just focus on the deficit, the debt, the prior obligations. They get handled as a matter of course en route to where we're going. Understand, my friends, it is way more inspirational to move toward what you want than just out of what you don't want. Don't forget that. That is enormous because you get what you focus on, right? And what you validate expands. If you keep looking at the crap, you get more crap. I get it. You're motivated because of the crap. That's nice. But now we've got to turn our gaze to where we're going. And it's got to be real. It's got to be real, not just some hope. And again, even if what got you here was a little bit of hope, that's still better than, sitting there in apathy and, utter ignorance. And why bother reaching? There's no point. I mean, well done. Well done. You and your hope. That's great. But let's start to go up that gradient, right? Hope, belief. Ooh, that's better than hope. Knowing. Wow, that's strong. Now I know. Yeah. So whatever got you here, make that real for you. Right. And don't be so stuck in like what did or didn't work yesterday. Look, we're about to come up on a whole new year. What does that mean? Well, again, it means whatever you think it means. Okay. So the calendar is going to say a different year on the end of it. Okay, nice. Well, let's work with what we got. Right. I think 2022 starts right now. It starts whenever you say it starts. Happy New Year, damn it. Let's get some momentum going here. I just made a decision. Here's what I'm going to have. Not just what I want. Here's what I'm going to have. You don't need the calendar to tell you now it's time for you to have resolve because it's the auspicious day. Oh my goodness. Make that decision right now. And you hit 2022 running with full expectancy because you're going to get what you expect. This has got to be real. I've been talking for a half hour. How did that happen, Amber? It's all your fault. Floor is open. Hands, thoughts. Yeah, I just monopolized this entire conversation, but we got 15 minutes. We can roll with this. Any? Did I hit any nerves today? See what happens when I'm off schedule. Yeah, Scott, and then Derrick. Hey, Scott, come on out, my friend. Scott Barker, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Barker. Scott Barker, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
There.
Good morning, John. Morning, everyone. I think you said you have to set a goal that's real for you. What's real for you is obviously going to be very different to what's real for someone else. And you talked about not focusing on the debt. Well, what's real for you might be just the vision of being debt free. If you've been under the slavery of debt for years and years or your whole life, and that can be an exciting prospect, something that even for you may be beyond what you can conceive even possible. But I think I think the key here is to set a goal that you are comfortable with. I don't think it really matters what the goal is, but then you focus on that and you achieve it. And then your vision of what's possible gets a little bit bigger. Do you remember? You may remember many years ago, there was a gentleman, a great guy, Robert Schuller. He used to be an evangelical minister. And he had a principle, peak to peak. So you reach one little goal and that enables you to have a vision of the next mountain, the mountain peak, which is a little bit higher. Then you go to that one and then you have another vision, which you couldn't see from the first, of another mountain a little bit higher. And you go from goal to goal like that. And the small goal, the first goal could be an ant heap, nothing almost by anyone else's reckoning. But it is something to you. And that's all that counts. So as it's something to you, it doesn't matter. Because eventually you'll be conquering mountains other people can't even begin to imagine. But you do it in your own way, in your own steps. And can I also mention too, you mentioned intelligence. I think the key with intelligence is that it gives you the capacity to take bigger steps, perhaps, but it also gives you the capacity to be bogged down in detail. And ultimately, it's your consistency and determination that are going to make the difference. And obviously, the clarity of a goal that is meaningful to you, knowing full well that once you achieve it, what you set as a goal could be totally different after that because you will have changed. Your goals represent who and what you are, not anything else. And that's all that counts. Anyway, that's my 10 cents worth.
Well, thank you, Scott. And look, we're either advancing or retreating. We're growing or disintegrating. Nothing rests. So when you reach these mile markers, these goals, these targets, we must continue to advance. Otherwise, rest on your laurels. Oh boy, I've done that. I'm speaking from experience. Not good. Not good. The comfort zone is very dangerous. So thank you. Great insights, Scott. Let's go to my new friend, Derrick. There's Derrick. What's going on, brother? Let's get Derrick out here.
Well, basically, at this moment in time, I'm a bit of a crossroads with regards to the system. The reason being is that I actually joined in a way that is different to the norm. In other words, I'm paying weekly for the system. Yes.
Okay.
And the problem I've got is I don't get paid till next Monday, and the payment is due on Friday.
Okay.
Can I take it through to a Monday? Because I get my pension on a Monday.
Sure. If you're asking me, I'm not the billing department either. I
No,
mentioned
I realize that, but who do I go to ask?
help at lowhangingecom.com. Can somebody put in the chat right there, the support address? Because it seems like Derrick didn't get the welcome package or something. So let's
I've got the
make sure.
welcome package. I mean, I've been through quite a lot of it so far, but I mean, at the moment, I'm struggling.
Thank you, Missy. See that in there? Do you know how to use the chat, Derrick? See that?
Low hanging.
There you go. There you go. So Derrick, glad you're here. Welcome. We're not going to handle tech or billing on this call, but those people will. Okay. Glad you're here, and you just keep showing up, my friend. I'm excited.
What I'm looking at doing is I mean, I'm starting off from scratch, basically. I mean, I'm a pensioner and I don't have enough money to live on. Let me put it that way. So my reason for being here is to actually start living a proper life.
Good. We could start with your words, right? So you can just move that into the past rather than I haven't
Yes.
had enough money to live on.
The thing
But
is,
now,
I've got the ability to do what I have to do.
good.
I mean, I've been online since 1991.
Okay.
Doing what? I used to work as a professional engineer. I've worked in oil and gas, petrochemical, and nuclear engineering. I've worked all over the world.
Oh.
And I'm 75 now.
Well, welcome, sir.
I still got ambition. That's the point.
My idea you've got my respect. Thank you.
My idea is to create a system, create a business that can do nothing else but help other people. That's all I want.
Okay. Well, the best way to help the poor is to not be one of them. So let's get you making some money.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I had quite a discussion the other day, actually yesterday, on this particular Zoom call. This is the first time I've done a Zoom call as well.
But you've been online since 1991.
I've been online since 1991. Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome.
I mean,
to the
prior
21st
to that,
century.
I was using mainframe computers.
Wow.
Did
you do like the punch cards? Like the punch cards back in
Yeah. Way back in the 60s.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I did the cassettes. I did basic C-load, C-save.
I worked on an IBM 3000.
Wow. I worked on a Trash 80. Remember those Tandy TRS 80s?
I actually had a TRS 80.
I knew you did. I knew.
16K level 2.
That's right. Yeah, 16K, baby. Ooh.
Yeah, 16K level 2.
Good times. I'm glad you're here, my friend.
I actually wrote the bubble sort in BASIC.
Wow.
It was 4,500 lines of code.
Blast from the past. So Derrick, here's what, because we got to move on. Here's what I'll offer you is that the past does not equal the future, which is a good thing, right? Yeah. And so now all of the clean slate kind of starting fresh kind of stuff that you just talked about, we're going to go into a realm of much more subjectivity than you're accustomed to. Okay. So the engineering and all that, I get it. I used to be a diesel engineer on a tugboat fleet in New York Harbor, not nuclear physics or anything, but I know about right and wrong, black and white, yes or no. Okay. Here it's all gray. It's all gray. Okay. So just deal with that, because that'll be a paradigm shift, and just know that you're now entering statistically the highest paying profession in the world, which is sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing beats it statistically. So glad you're here, my friend. I'm hearing the bagpipes. I'm hearing the bagpipes, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Derrick, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is.
Yeah.
Love you, man. Glad you're
I'm
here.
from England, by the way. I'm not a Scottish.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't even know what I'm talking. I'm hearing bagpipes anyway. That's
I-
okay. Save me. Save
Well,
me,
I'm
Alec.
I'm living in Aberdeen because I had to move to Aberdeen to get a job when I first got back to the UK.
Ah,
Because I was working in the Middle East. I worked in the Middle East for 20 odd years.
wow. Okay. Well, welcome back to the cold weather. We do need to move
Well, that's
on.
what I'm working for, to get back to the warm weather.
I hear you. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I know all about warm weather. Yeah, I sure do. Okay, we got to move on. Alec, if
Yeah,
you would
okay.
wrap us up today. Alec, tell us something good because we got to get to work here. Alec Martin.
Cheers, John.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so you were talking about growing, and I took a very, very big leap this week, even though it did not plan out. Like, I didn't land on my feet. I still rolled, but yeah, really, I had gotten in touch with some schools, so they gave me a call. And we went about the process and everything. Of course, when it all came down to financial aid, that's where it got a little technical. But I talked to the lady, and it was an eye opener, if anything. I mean, because I was talking to her and she was asking what I wanted to go to school for, which that I was unaware of. So I won't even lie. I was unaware of it. And then I figured, well, I would like to know more about my business. So we went over it, and I was going to go in for some IT tech specialists. And like I said, I didn't exactly land on my feet because it did come down to finances. But just that movement, because I've been on the phone for the past 2 days easily. And just that movement, just that advancement was a big shot of inspiration, I guess you could say.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for taking the action, right? It's one thing to sit around and theorize. Well, that would be nice. It's another thing to actually reach and do it. So,
Yes, sir.
so Alec, we're witnessing your transformation, like right before our eyes. I'm glad you keep showing up here. So
Thank
this is
you.
exciting stuff. This is just the beginning, man. So we're at the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and wrap up. What do you guys think? Can I join you again tomorrow? Is that okay? Can you have me 2 days in a row? Yeah. Okay. Derrick's going to get clothes on, and I'm going to see you all. I'll bring a bagpipe, and what a crew. I love you guys. Make it a great day. I'll see you again.